I'm recording a video today because I've said that I would record videos and try and maintain a weekly schedule of videos, whether I felt like it or not, whether I had anything to say or not. And if there wasn't an extremely good reason to not make one, then I would make one. And so this video, like the morning pages, if you don't know what they are, the morning pages are a practice, are the most famous practice out of the book, The Artist's Way. And they involve getting up every day and writing 3 pages in a journal, if you like. They're not a journal though. And you have to write those pages whether you've got anything to write or not. And if you've got nothing to write, then you are meant to sit there and just write, I've got nothing to write. And you keep writing that until you've filled 3 pages. If nothing else comes to mind, then you've just filled 3 pages of I've got nothing to write. But the point is that over the course of those 3 pages, you come up with something to write. And in the same way, I am making this video. There isn't a topic. I have no idea what the title is going to be. I'm just struggling right now. In the course of making this video, the numerous takes I've now done, I made a comment a minute ago in a previous version that no one will see because I deleted it, which was my life isn't a struggle. The situations that I live in, the life that I lead isn't a struggle. I'm not sitting here trying to say that this is a struggle, but I struggle with the situation that I'm in, regardless of how good that situation looks on the surface. And right now I'm struggling a lot for numerous reasons. This trip hasn't gone the way I wanted it to go. I am feeling an increasing amount of pressure about creating this content and trying to get it released. I hate that term, content, about creating this work, about creating these projects and trying to get them released. I'm feeling an increasing amount of pressure about that. I think it's all building up right now to this point because the trip has felt increasingly detrimental to me moving forward in a way that I want to, regardless of how great the trip might look on the surface to anybody else who's not able to come and do this trip. Like I've said about my career, I'm extremely grateful that I get to come and do this stuff, but you can be grateful for something that you really, really struggle with. And I've really, really struggled with this trip, and it's impacted both the work and me an increasing amount as time has gone on. You know, I'm extremely grateful that I've built this this routine for exercise, and I'm grateful that I had enough time to build that routine in that I am able to start seeing and feeling results, which means when I get back to the UK, I am just not going to let that drop. This is just a thing that I do now. I'm extremely grateful for that. But outside of that one routine, this trip has annihilated any routine that I had before. You know, back in the UK, I would be up by 8. You know, I would usually wake up around 7:30, between 7:30 and 8. I would then get up when I woke up, certainly within 10 minutes of waking up. I would make a coffee, I would sit down, I would journal whilst drinking that coffee, and then I would just get on with the day. And by the end of all of that, I would be ready and knowing what I had to do. Here, I wake up, I scroll fucking Instagram. Oh God, I hate that platform so much. I hate that I'm addicted to it. And I don't know how I'm going to fix that. So I scroll that, I get up, I make some breakfast and a coffee. I sit down, I put on YouTube, just another fucking addiction. And usually sit and watch YouTube videos while still scrolling Instagram for God knows how long until my brain is like, you've got to get on with the day and do something. It's like I wake up with this fog of anxiety and stress and confusion over what I'm trying to do and how I'm meant to do it and what's going on. And I'm really hoping that when I get back to the UK, I can get back out from underneath that, because I really need to get some of this work, get some of these ideas out into the world, because if I don't, then I just am not in a position where I can carry on working on them. The Kickstarter, still not out this week. still not out last week and won't be out this week, which means I will have missed Zine Quest, which makes me angry. But it's not that I've missed Zine Quest that makes me angry. It's not that I haven't met the deadline. It's twofold. It's that I said that I would. In the excitement of doing it, it was like having a New Year's resolution. Yay, I'm going to start the gym and off I'm going to go and I'm going to get in better shape and all of those things. And as we now know from research and all of the studies, as soon as you start telling people that stuff at New Year's, and as soon as you start planning for it for a New Year's resolution, let alone start telling everybody, you're just doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the fact that you're not going to do it. Right. That's just the way that works. So much research has shown that. Telling people about it and setting them as a New Year's resolution. It's like why I didn't wait to start the gym until New Year, even though I was close, because I knew that was the case. It was like, if you're going to start it in the new year and you think this is important, then you should start it today. The next day I got up and I went to the gym and I maintained that. And so setting this, I'm going to launch a Kickstarter and I'm going to launch it for Zine Quest. It's not so bad to come on here and talk about the fact that I'm making this thing, but I shouldn't have set a date like that without knowing what I was doing. And the date is arbitrary and unimportant. Yes, yeah, of course, there's a benefit to the fact that Kickstarter also supports Zine Quest and so talks about it and pushes it and advertises it. But many people have built creative careers without needing a Zine Quest to work towards. Now, that's not to say that I'm not doing the zine and I'm not going to launch the Kickstarter. I definitely am. And I am genuinely hopeful and optimistic that I can do that by the end of next month. Because if I can't, well, then that means that this idea of this career of in some way supporting myself by creating my own content is unrealistic if I can't get things finished and released in an amount of time that's realistic to the potential money it can make and therefore be able to support me as part of my career, right? And at that point it will have been almost 2 months to get this one zine done. I just can't think straight right now, and I'm right at this exact second I'm wanting to push stop on the video and delete it and record it again, which is what I've done with hours of footage at this point. But I can't do that because otherwise I'm never going to get a video finished. I'm never going to get one released today. I don't really know what to say in this moment. This is a bit like those morning pages that I was talking about. I'm looking forward to just getting back to the UK and trying to get my life back into some normality. But I also know that in 8 months' time, because of the way my life is set up in the UK, I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do in that period of time for that following 4 months, because it is so disruptive. It's just so disruptive. It was different when I was living over here because it was where I lived and it wasn't disruptive. That was my life. But this 8 month, 4 month thing is so disruptive. And I need to figure that out this year on top of figuring out what I'm doing with work, you know. Anyway, I've not really got anything positive to add to a video today about the process, other than the fact that for me at least, and I am sure for many others, this is a part of the process, believe it or not. This is what I go through with doing this creative work, trying to do it for myself. It's why I've never released anything until this point, if I'm honest, because I hit these walls like this and I usually switch projects. I don't stop working. I change the work. Whether I'm working on the Jaws comic, or whether I'm working on the Fears role-playing game, or whether I'm working on a dungeon crawling board game, or whether I'm working on a zine. What happens is I hit a point like this and I blame what I'm working on as the problem. And I will be so close to finishing it, and then I will just change tracks. And so nothing gets finished. It's why I'm able to finish work for hire work, because it just needs doing. Whereas when you're doing your own project, it doesn't actually, even though right now it really does, because it's meant to be a part of what I'm doing to support myself. Because the truth is, if I'm not doing it as part of the way to support myself, I'm not going to get it done. My entire career has proved that. When your job is creative, this clearly isn't for everybody, right? Because There are a lot of people who are able to have a creative career and then go on to do something creatively on their own, of their own, and release it, right? But for me, for sure, and I can guarantee for many others, because of the amount of other people in creative jobs that say they're going to release their own thing and then they never come to fruition. The problem is that they drain the same battery. If I sit and draw Batgirls all day, it's draining the exact same battery as if I have to sit and then draw Jules, right? I've spent the battery for the day. It's just gone. And so there's just no chance that if I work full time, if I go to working full time, then there's no chance that I will also be able to do my own stuff. And if that's going to be the case, then I have to let go of it, because to be quite honest, this shit drives me insane. Like literally, I really struggle with this creative stuff. I really struggle with the fact that I've not finished anything and I'm not releasing anything. It's a problem for me. And it's not one I want to struggle with so much, so much. But that's easier said than done, right? Because it's clearly just in me to want to make stuff, to want to create things and to want to release them. And because I've been saying I would do it for so long. So even if I was to go back to full time, would I then just be able to say, okay, or I'll just leave Jules behind, or I'll just leave the role playing game stuff behind? Doesn't matter. I'll just do this for work, and then I'll just, I don't know, sit on the beach for the rest of the time and be like surfs up. I don't really like the beach. I'm not a beach person. Much more mountains and valleys and forests and woodlands and things like that. I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but I do know that, like I say, I haven't got the creative battery to be able to both work and release my own stuff. And I don't know what that all means, because I'm also not in a position where I can't work, right? I have to work. I need the money. I'm not in some sort of position where I can just be like, well, I'll just quit my job then. Just not in that position. No matter how frugally I live and no matter how small my life is, I'm not in a position where I can just be like, I'm not going to work anymore. Not even close to that. And the truth is, of even working, even that does drain my battery, because I care about the work that I do and I care about the companies that I work for. So even though I'm part-time, on my days that I'm not meant to be working, I'm still checking messages and checking chats and talking to the other artists and looking in on deadlines and doing all of those other things, because I I care, and that still drains the same battery. That's taking up a part of the day when I'm supposed to be focused on doing this zine and whatever I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm going to leave this one here. I realize that this video is nothing. It's just me venting, sharing, explaining, all of those things. Hopefully, when I get back to the UK, I'm going to be able to work on making this channel into something that I would want to watch, because something else I've been struggling with about these videos is that when I look at the content that I find engaging on YouTube, the stuff that I find it inspiring, it's nothing like the content that I'm making. And if I came across my channel, I probably wouldn't watch it. And that leaves me in a position where I just think, what the hell am I even doing this for then? I need to take it a bit more seriously, rather than thinking, oh my God, I need to make a video and then just waffling at the camera for a little while a time lapse runs. I need to find a way to start making the kinds of content that I want to make. Okay, I am going to sign off here. I don't think I've really talked about anything. Like I said at the beginning, this just feels like a video version of the daily pages. If you made it this far, that is an absolute miracle, and I appreciate that. I promise that going forward, I'm going to try and make content that is more engaging. The next video definitely won't be. I fly at the end of this week. I make my videos over the course of the weekend, at the moment at least, and I'm going to be traveling and all sorts over next weekend. So the next video I make is going to be in about 3 seconds time when I turn this video off, and then I'm going to record the next one, which will be not much more than, I have no idea. It's the things that come to mind. Yeah, I know what the next video is going to be about. Okay, listen, I'm signing off before this deteriorates anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. My name's Neil. Until the next video, just one step at a time, right? You've just got to keep pushing forward with it. because adding disappointment in yourself to a list of things you might be struggling with is just not going to help. So, all right, signing off. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Bye.